they connected with the script. They connect because his was a very heavy abusive father, so he's known for a lot of different types of roles. But that was something he hadn't done, so it was something when he read it, he said, "Wow, this is something that I'll have to bring myself to." Even though he's been in 50 plus films or whatever, it was something that for him, and when he was on the set, he was really, really intense and like in that space or whatever. And what I found out from him and what I found out from a couple of the other actors that had been around for 20 plus years doing it is that they have a little bit more of a, they're so intense about their craft that they had, I use the word insecurity, and it might be the wrong word to use, but they had, it would be funny sometimes because they would come to us and pull us aside and sometimes say, "How was that? I can give you another." And you know, I wasn't getting that as much from some of the actors that that really you would think that had just started or had only done a little bit. Like they're kind of cocky, kind of I nailed that or whatever, and we're like, "No, you didn't."
That's true.
That guy there, they're the ones like Courtney. They were the ones that were making people like tear up on the set or whatever with their performances or whatever. But they would come and say, "For real, I mean, I can do it again. I can try this, and I can do it this way, and I can do it this way." And I held back on the third take, and they were a lot more, those actors of stature were a lot more, but I also had to realize too that they're putting themselves out there for us because they're used to working with major directors and good people, so they're also putting themselves on the line, so they want to make sure they're giving a performance that's gonna be something that they're proud of too. So I realized it wasn't necessarily insecurity. It was they're protecting themselves by, is it right?
Yeah.
Don't kiss my ass because I'm this guy from whatever. Like, tell me because I'm putting myself out there for you, so I want to give the best performance.
And true confidence of releasing yourself in the moment,
exactly.
You know, and to be available. And that's what it's about. And that is where someone has the confidence to say, "Here I am completely, and whatever happens, you're not going to know what's happening in that moment because you're not in your mind, right?
Exactly.
You're just out there available to the moment. And when you're out there, you're on the tightrope, like with no ropes tied to you, and you don't know what's going to happen. And that is when they come to you and they say, "How was it?" It's because they have no idea what just happened.
He was being
and they
extreme evil, like as this father yelling and hitting, and like he was just being this drunken, just bastard. And so like he was losing himself when we said action, and then when he said cut, he would just walk away for a couple minutes, and like. We're going again, and then once, like I said, and he would, if we'd go again, right back to it. Go again, right back to it. But once we would print it or whatever, then like I said, he would come and say, "All right, tell me, let me know." And you could still see it simmering. You could still see it simmering, like, hey, there's this guy still lurking in here to come out. But like once we say, okay, we're moving on, you don't have to try to choke this woman or do anything. You can calm down, go take a breather, have some water, whatever, and then he would come back like 5 minutes later or whatever. "Hey guys," like smile like that because that's something they're conditioned to do because they've been doing it for so long. Sure. Whereas some of the other actors that aren't, some of them would linger. Some of it would linger with our lead actors. Some of them where they're kind of like they're a little snippy. Like or whatever when people are around, just because they're not as used to controlling their emotions,
right? And
under that duress that their character is.
Mm-hmm. And Mike knows a lot about. I think that goes hand in hand with that. It's about the history of that particular aspect of the art. You know, it's getting in touch as the performer. You know, and getting in touch with opening up.
Well, before acting, I mean, we were talking about this the other night. I mean, before acting was called theater, you know, in Greek times. Before that, it was shamanic sorcery. You know, people, were thought they were channeling demons or spirits and these kinds of things and these rituals, and that's what it was. You know, that's what theater was. That's what acting was. That's
shamanic sorcery.
That's what we are, shamanic sorcery.
Well, that's what we're
So now we know who we are. You know, and as soon as
that's
you
a
know
movie
who you
right
are,
there. That's a movie right there.
A lot better.
I
gotta make that.
That's what filmmakers are. They're dream weavers.
You gotta make
when
that.
you make something powerful enough, you know, that stays with you. You know, that stays in that show. That
Follow-up.
stays in your dreams. You know.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize now. I did not go to film school.
I did not either.
I've never made a movie before in my life, and I chose to make a documentary, so I've never worked with an I was an actor, but I've never worked with an actor in a movie. So, sorry.
Don't apologize.
No need to apologize for anything here. You know? We're all just
But a problem that I had, and I'm hoping this might be able to relate, was getting people to have succinct points so I could get sound bites that I really, really want. And I don't know if that's something, if actors in a movie, they make up their own lines and you kind of go with the flow, or if you give them specific, they have to drive this line, I don't know. But I had a huge trouble getting people to say exactly what they had said off camera on and with, you know, the same passion.
Right.
So, I don't know if that's kind of along the same lines as what you're
I understand.
Jump starting
I
the
understand.
passion, finding the passion. So that you're getting a specific sound.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, that was great. Repeat what you said there, and they're not in the moment.
Exactly.
How do you get them back in
Or
there?
just getting the basic
Gathering.
sound bite instead of having a 10-hour monologue.
Yeah.
Either one of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
You know, don't try to get it the first time on camera. Try to seriously. If they go out, it's hard to repeat it.
Yeah.
You know, so like know when you try to set it up. So when they are going to do that explosive expression, if you can't make it as non-aware of the camera, they can be.
Do you give them an actual, I mean, like, in my, I'm sorry,
No, please. It's all about you. Make it about you.
This moment
Make it
is all
relevant.
about you.
Yeah,
Make it
you can
relevant.
answer questions, but you can't really tell them what to say. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only feed them things that you think might give you the reaction you want.
And that's what I did. But I was wondering if there was some better way to do this next time.
Well, it's an art form, really. I mean, you know, the more you learn about yourself, and the more you learn about, you know, what makes you work and how you're communicating with others, the more you kind of find out, you know, little things that might work for one person that might not work for another. I mean, it's completely an art form, I think, honestly.
Absolutely.
You
I think
know?
one tip that I did go to film school, and one tip they said to us in documentaries is to get the person that you want to be doing something mundane or something they're familiar with.
Right.
And you often see that they might be watering the flowers or pruning the roses while they're telling you a story, or maybe they're washing up. So their mind is kind of on that task, and then they're relaxing, talking to you about, you know, you're firing these questions at them, and they're getting on to something rather than just sat there. Oh God, there's a camera.
It's just
Yeah.
a camera, yeah.
Is that why you see a lot of people walking?
Yeah, or just doing other things quite often. You know,
Something
so-
that doesn't have their mind focused on that big bad
Yeah.
camera that they might just freeze up or whatever. The only thing I could offer in essence of how it might correlate is that sometimes when I'm a big believer in shooting rehearsals,
Yeah.
like when you're in the moment
Mhm.
or whatever, just for the sake that you sometimes catch just gems, because sometimes people just do things that are just they're not thinking that it's that moment right there. Sometimes I just roll it and just say, hey, let's rehearse this or whatever, because they're a little bit more free to kind of play with it. Whereas when you're like, hey, pictures up, and everybody's okay, I gotta do this, I gotta get in this character or whatever. So sometimes when even if it's little pieces you might be able to take from that rehearsal, there have been times where the rehearsals have produced some really magic moments just because those actors weren't necessarily in that moment where they're
give them lines or do they
well
just
yeah, for us it's their scripts and like these are plotted out to where the actors come prepared. I mean, other than these, what I do specifically is in documentaries, so there is preparation to it, but you sort of sometimes catch organic moments that you might not catch if like when they know it's for real.
Right,
Sometimes actors like, and they still do bring it, but at the same time, sometimes when you just roll on rehearsal and the actors don't necessarily know you're rolling on rehearsal, they'll do a certain look, or they'll do some kind of emotions or whatever that they don't do when you say pictures of. That you're like, wow, well, he did rehearsal, and the rehearsing role was, and sometimes they'll up their performance and they'll dumb it down.